because he handed me a flyer for his comedy show.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's like you see where Guy has come, and you're just so proud to see people who have come up and done big things and are continuing to, like I saw a guy at the Improv like murder. Like the last time I saw him, he murdered. And that was like maybe a couple years ago. And it's just like, just to see him working at that same level is incredible.
Yeah, man, we did a gig. He was headlining at the Tampa Improv maybe like 2 years ago, and that's where I'm from originally. So I hit him up. I did a guest spot with him. We had a good show that night for sure.
Yeah.
So I want to get into your relationship with Nick Cannon, and now I want to see like how did y'all team up, because y'all like Batman and Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all get it in.
I'm definitely Robin. He's Batman.
I'll try to give you some credit. I
don't get slapped around as much.
Oh, okay. Straight up. So how did that relationship begin and develop?
So my Uncle Bentley had a deal at Warner Brothers at the time, and Will Smith came to him and said, I got this kid, man. He's just like me. He's incredible. He's 16, 17 years old. He's a comedian, and let's do something with him. And so they got together, and I met Nick. Nick was like 17, and Nick was, and I was like 21, 22 or something like that. And so we were the two young guys around. And so Nick took to me and was like, oh, you're my big bro.
Right.
Okay, cool. We're gonna hang out and we're gonna do stuff, and and so and Nick was just a ball of energy when he was 17 years old. And so
skinny as hell. He was super skinny.
Super skinny. Now he's all buff, male model of the week and
right.
shit. Now it's crazy. But yeah, little frame, but a lot of energy. And he was a writer as well. He was one of the youngest staff writers in history. He wrote on My Cousin Skeeter at like 16 years old,
That's crazy.
And it's nuts. Like this kid is just, he was doing warm up on all that and then became a cast member. And so, Will Smith took to him, and my uncle and him, started working on a project together. They didn't end up finalizing the project together, but it forged a relationship with Nick and I that was a good bond. And I helped him with his first little talk show on Nickelodeon, and we wrote on a few things and always stayed close, and down the line there was a writer's strike. I was working at an insurance company and doing pilots from time to time, and Nick called me and says, yo man, I got this. He says, I know you want to be a writer, I know you want to write. He says, but I got this record deal, and I got I just did this movie Drumline. It's about to go crazy. And he's like, yo, man, I need somebody to come on the road with me. You think you could do that for me? And I was like, yeah, I mean, but you know how Hollywood is. People be like, yeah, man, you want to do something? And then you don't hear from them,
I know.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah, I'm going to have my manager call you. And I was like, all right, cool. So, a couple days later, I didn't hear nothing. And then he calls me and says, yo, my manager didn't call you? I said, nah, man, I get it. Literally, that day I got laid off. That same day.
That's crazy.
It was either that same day or the day before I just got laid off. I said, yo, man, nah, he didn't hit me up, man. It's all good, though. And he says, hold on, put him on three-way. I chop it up with the manager. I'm literally on a plane to go meet with Nick the next day. And now I'm his, assistant road manager, you know what I mean? Like taking care of the day-to-day stuff. And, sometimes I'm the stylist. Sometimes I'm security. Sometimes I'm just a little bit of everything.
That's what my homeboy Lee is. He the same thing.
You need that guy. He's important, but he knew, he was like, he knew this isn't what I wanted to do. And he says, here's the deal. Just do this with me for a little while, and I promise you, we'll create stuff and we'll do something there. We'll definitely do a TV show together. And I said, all right, bet. So during that time, we wrote a movie for Will Smith's company, and and did some development on a couple of other things, and then maybe 2 years later, we're working, you know, he's doing TRL, and they bring him in, and they're like, yo, man, you're such a good host. Like, we got to figure out what we're going to do with you. And I'm just fly on the wall in the meeting. And he says, all right, cool. So we go back to LA from New York, and Nick calls me in the middle of the night, and he says, yo, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do an improv comedy game show. We're going to do Whose Line Is It? Whose Line Is It Anyway? But black. And I was like, I'm thinking we're going to do a sitcom or some shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. And so he's like, nah, this is what we're going to do. And I was like, all right, cool. And so we wrote it up the next day at Stevie's on Ventura, wrote it up, and you know, we got a couple other comedians, Chris Spencer, and, you know, to put it on its feet, and worked it out. And then we shot that pilot at the Comedy Union. And
Black-owned comedy club in LA.
Yeah, Black-owned comedy club in LA. Shout out to Enz Mitchell.
Yep.
You know, gave us a great opportunity. And we shot that pilot and sent it to MTV, and they were like, yeah, we want to do this. We're going to give you a real budget to do a real pilot, because Nick took the money out of his own pocket to shoot it. And so we shot that pilot, and then they ordered 8 episodes. And, you know, that was my transition from being on the road to, you know, becoming a producer. And I was just an associate producer on Wild 'N Out at the time. You know, and then I worked my way up to, you know, producer to co-EP to EP. And then, you know, they gave me the reins of showrunner in season 7.
Man, I'm gonna tell you one of the biggest lessons I learned from that story. Your uncle, I hosted a Clubhouse one night, the only one I ever done, and you came through. Bentley came through.
Yeah.
And my homeboy.
Another one, Marlon came through too?
Marlon came through.
Marlon came through,
yeah. It was a good night.
Yeah.
It was good. Great. That shit lasted like 6 hours. I was so tired. I haven't done a Clubhouse since.
I don't think I've been back since myself, because I was like, yo, this was good. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to be bad the next
Right. I'm trying to figure out a way how to do it, but I got to put like a time restraint on it or something.
Yeah,
but
like from this time to this time.
Straight up. But what I learned from these stories are these people, Bentley Kyle Evans, Nick Cannon, Hassan Minaj, they shot their own pilots. They took money out of their own bank account.
Yes.
Shot it, sent it to these networks. It was undeniable. See, when you go into these offices, it's hard for them to imagine what your vision is. Yep. You know, they don't get it. They only are capable typically to compare your vision to someone else's vision. And if